There are a number of ways to rent a property. You can rent directly from a landlord, through a letting agent, or from local authority. If you are going to rent a property direct from the landlord, look for landlords who belong to an accreditation scheme. Your local authority can advise you about accreditation schemes operating in your area. If you rent directly from the landlord, you might pay less upfront costs. You won't have to pay fees which letting agents charge. You might not have to give so many references. Your landlord might not insist on doing a credit check. Through a letting agent, you can find your local letting agents on most high streets or on the internet. If you rent from a letting agent, you can tell the letting agent if repairs need doing, if they manage the property. They'll speak to the landlord and arrange the repairs for you. Complain to an independent complaints body if you're not happy with their service. Get advice about the local area. To get a council or housing association home, you usually have to be on the council's waiting list. To put your name on the waiting list, you must fill in an application form which you can get from the council's housing department or website. The council must help you if you have difficulty filling in the form. The council uses the information you provide to decide whether you can go on the waiting list and, if so, what size and type of property you can be considered for. Waiting lists do not work on a first-come, first-served basis. Certain people will be given priority. You should get some priority if you have applied to the council as a homeless person, live in very poor housing conditions, have a health condition that is made worse by where you live, need to be close to a special school or to someone you are caring for. The council may give you less priority if you have a history of antisocial behaviour or rent arrears, if you own a property anywhere else in the world, or if you have no local connection with its area. The tenancy agreement is a contract between you and your landlord. It may be written or oral. The tenancy agreement gives certain rights to both you and your landlord. For example, your right to occupy the accommodation and your landlord's rights to receive rent for letting the accommodation. The most commonly used tenancy agreement is called an assured short-hold tenancy. This agreement is used where the rent is below £100,000 per year. The tenant is an individual or a group of individuals, and the tenants will be having exclusive use of the property. As the tenant, you'll also have a right to occupy the property for a minimum of 6 months. Prior to signing the tenancy contract, you will need to supply your personal details, employer and previous landlord information, bank details, and there will also be a credit score to check if you have any adverse payment history. Some landlords might ask someone to guarantee your rent. If you don't have a guarantor, you can visit Shelter's website for help. If you're renting a property using an assured short-hold tenancy agreement, your deposit has to be protected by law with an approved tenancy deposit scheme. The landlord must protect it in a government-approved scheme within 30 days and provide you prescribed information about it. Make sure you get the official information from your landlord and that you understand how to get your money back at the end of the tenancy. Keep this information safe as you will need it later. When signing a contract, you shouldn't feel forced into a decision, and it is important to understand the terms and conditions of any contract you are entering into. The landlord must provide you with a copy of the contract. Keep it safe, as it is an important document. If you have a tenancy for a fixed period, for example 6 or 12 months, you do not have to move out when that period ends. Your tenancy automatically becomes a periodic tenancy if you do not sign up to a new agreement. Find out what fees and costs you will be charged and when you need to pay them. By law, a breakdown of all fees should be clearly visible to you in the agent's office and on their website. Other things to look for in your tenancy agreement: children, smoking and pets. Check if there are any rules about them. It is the landlord's right to impose restrictions on keeping pets and smoking. Check who is responsible for bills such as electricity, gas, water and council tax. It is usually the tenant's responsibility to pay for these. It is recommended to agree an inventory or check-in report with your landlord and make sure that you take photos. This will make things easier if there is a dispute about the deposit at the end of the tenancy. If you are happy with the inventory, sign it and keep a copy. Remember to take meter readings when you move in. This will help make sure you don't pay for the previous tenant's bills.